only in terms of the sales that the central banks are planning.
The gentlewoman from New York, Ms. Velázquez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Gentlemen and gentlewomen, while we now spend more than $1 trillion on the bailout, a recent report shows that foreclosures increased 5% last month. We also know that 3 million more are likely to face foreclosure in the very near future. In light of the Fed's extensive actions and taxpayers' expense, can you tell us why are foreclosures still increasing?
Okay, I will.
The
question is, why are foreclosures still increasing?
Yes, sir.
I would say to you that it is hard to imagine, no matter what program we have, that we're not going to have a good number of foreclosures when you look at what we've gone through here and look at the excesses and look at the shoddy lending practices. And there are foreclosures take place for a number of reasons. Some of them take place because speculators no longer want to stay in their home. But I think the question to really ask, which is one we're all asking, is why are foreclosures taking place when people, homeowners, want to stay in their home and they're willing to make an effort to stay in their home and they can afford to stay in their home. And this is, I will tell you, a...
Sir, I'm the one asking the questions here.
Well, I thought you were asking the question. I was trying to answer it.
So let me ask you, to what extent are foreclosures causing our continued economic instability? What is the relationship, Mr. Bernanke?
Yeah.
Well, they're both a symptom and a cause. Now that the house prices are falling and that the economy is weakening, people don't have the income to make their payments. The house foreclosures are going up. So that's a symptom of the downturn, but it's also a cause because it's weakening house prices. It's hurting the value of mortgages, which hurts financial institutions. So it's part of the mechanism which is causing the economy to weaken.
So can you tell me how much of the more than $1 trillion spent by the Treasury and Fed in the bailout has gone to prevent individual foreclosures?
Where do you get the $1 trillion from? There's been $250 billion by the Treasury, and the Fed hasn't spent any money. We only lend money.
Okay, so of the money that has been lent, how many foreclosures has been prevented? Individuals?
Well, as the Secretary has described, there's been a whole number of programs, including the Hope for Homeowners and so on. But I also agreed with an earlier questioner that I think we need to do more.
So, you know, the trouble here, sir, is I supported the bailout package. I agonized with that vote. Still, Main Street America, the people that are watching this debate here or this discussion is still waiting to hear an answer as to how this is benefiting them, how this is benefiting Main Street America. You have a silver bullet, it seems to me, that just by giving a blank check to financial institutions, this is a partnership, this is taxpayers' money that is providing capital infusion to financial institutions, but we expect from the banks to do more to help families keep their homes. And so we're giving this money or lending this money without any string attached to it.
Let me just say three things here. First of all, the key to turning around the housing situation and avoiding foreclosures is going to be to keep lending going. If the financial system collapsed, we'd have many more foreclosures, number one. Number two, you are seeing a number of big banks take extraordinary actions, and they've announced them, and you can just tick them off, announcing actions they're taking. So they are doing things, number one. And number two, I would say that I believe that our actions to stabilize Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, who are the biggest source of home financing in America today, have been critical. So there have been real steps that have been taken that make a difference. More needs to be done. I hear your frustration. More needs to be done, and we're going to keep working on it.
Yes, you hear my frustration. And I hope that you understand the pain and the suffering of so many homeowners in this country that are losing their homes. So it's just not enough to say to the banks, here is the money, and by the way, I trust you. Because they are not lending. They're not lending to small businesses. They are not working on loan modification strategy. You just told Mr. Frank here that you are examining strategy to mitigate foreclosures. You don't have a strategy to mitigate foreclosure. You are examining. She does. Are you willing to support her plan?
What I've said very clearly is that the NDMAC protocol is an excellent protocol. Matter of fact, with the GSEs, with their whole guidelines endorse the plan. What they've done, which I think will become a national model, is based upon that plan. And I said that I am looking very hard to find programs to put into the TARP that I think strike the right balance between protecting the taxpayer and are effective.
Could I ask for unanimous for 1 minute, because, without objection, Mr. Bernanke, you said the Hope for Homeowners, which this Congress passed, has some problems, and we were taking a first cut at it. I just want to advocate what the chairwoman has done in IndyMac has been superb, and the leadership elsewhere is important. There are different models. There's interest rate reduction, there's principal reduction. Let 100 flowers bloom. There are different motivations and different impacts. And there are some things about Hope for Homeowners which you have told us, and we agree, need to be modified, some of which can only be done statutorily. But the TARP lets you do that. So I would recommend the Secretary work together and another model, not in competition with, but give the modifications and Hope for Homeowners through the TARP that help work that out, because these are not competitive, they are additive. I thank the members. The gentleman from Ohio.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and Mr. Secretary, I'm going to let my colleagues